Hey everyone, it's 11 o'clock Pacific time, so we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to the CONNEXT virtual conference. My name is Lacey Bergevin and I'm your host today. So welcome and thank you for joining us. I hope you can hear me okay, but if you're having any audio issues, please let us know in the Q&A box on the right-hand side of your screen. Before we kick off our session, I'd like to take care of a few housekeeping items. If you've attended previous courses, I apologize in advance because you'll hear this information many times. But for our newbies, here are a few things to know before we get started. We're scheduled for 60 minutes of content with 10 to 15 minutes of Q&A at the end today. We encourage your participation throughout the session, so please don't be shy. The Q&A box will remain on your screen throughout the presentation. Please type questions in at any time. Also, if you have technical difficulties during the session, you can seek help in the Q&A box as well. We'll be posting recordings daily in the Facebook group. More info to come at the end of the presentation on how to join it. And we'll be sending them each day along with the CE information. Our goal is to offer CE credit for all courses. The evaluation and quiz will be sent after the course each day, and your CE certificates will be issued within 1 to 2 weeks. Okay, with that out of the way, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce our presenter for today, Dr. Bruce Baird. Dr. Bruce B. Baird is a 1980 graduate of the UT Health Science Dental School in San Antonio. After graduation, he spent 4 years in the U.S. Army in Korea and at Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio. After leaving the service, he built a scratch practice in the small town of Granbury, Texas. Over 36 years, he grew the practice into a multi-doctor, multi-million-dollar business with revenues in 2019 of over $5 million. Dr. Baird has lectured across the U.S. and internationally for over 30 years. His topics include cosmetic dentistry, dental implants, communication skills, and the business of dentistry. He taught at the Implant Preceptorship in San Antonio and to the seniors at Baird Dental School. He founded Productive Dentist Academy 16 years ago, which has grown to a world-class organization with doctors from all 50 states and 19 countries attending their workshops. With his partner, Victoria Peterson, they have grown the company to 42 employees, providing seminars, coaching, and marketing to thousands of dentists across North America. In 2011, Dr. Baird founded Comprehensive Finance Incorporated, a company that helps doctors across the U.S. do their own financing. They have grown to over 23 employees, and to date they have helped originate over $30 million in financing. They are rapidly becoming the largest financial tech company in healthcare. We also have Dr. Kim Cooch joining the conversation. He's the founder of Carry-Free and also has an impressive resume. We're lucky to have him as our resident Carries risk management expert. Dr. Cooch, would you like to say a few words to officially introduce Dr. Baird?
Yes, I would, Lacey, and thank you for that great introduction. And Bruce, welcome today. It's a real privilege and an honor to have you here. Bruce, you and I have been friends for a lot of years, and
long time.
You have helped so many dentists become more successful and productive in their practices, and I think you've personally experienced what the great value dentistry can provide for people as you've experienced that yourself. I know with your own personal history. And so, Bruce, I just really appreciate you taking the time to come and share your knowledge at this really unusual period of time that we are all kind of trying to navigate our way, surf our way through. So thank you, Bruce, for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Kim. Good to hear your voice, and hope you guys are staying safe. Yeah, there's really a lot of things that we have to look at right now. This is the strangest time, and Dr. Cooch and I have been around for a long time, so we've seen multiple different, I won't call it depressions, but financial challenges over our careers. And this one is, it may be the granddaddy of all of them. And there's several thoughts about that. One is, well, we can just wait for the tsunami to hit us, and the other is grab a surfboard, and that's my preference. Um, my philosophy is right now is what we do right now is gonna shape and form what's going to happen in our businesses and in our practices for the rest of our careers. So really super important. So I'm going to start out by talking about some some of the actual issues that we're having right now. Um, the pandemic crisis of 2020, you can expect the loss of revenue to last at least 90 days. And my prediction is June 15th is going to be our date to reopen. Now, I will tell you, I have no clue, but that's just a guess. I've been on and every single day doing podcast webinars and everything else, and I still think I'm hopeful that June 15th will be a good time for us. Could last longer and faster, but I believe we'll be back working by then. At least I hope so. And it'll be different. We'll be working differently than we have been. I think that's for certain. Uh, all businesses are going to suffer right now. I mean, they're all suffering, whether it be restaurants, medical offices, dental offices, you name it. Everyone is in the same kind of the same boat. Predictions of severe contraction in the economy in the first two quarters of the year, actually mainly in the second quarter, perhaps lasting into Q3. I'd love to see a rebound happen quickly, but I just don't know. Many of your patients are going to lose up to 30 to 40% of their retirement savings. I'm hopeful we don't see another bottom in the market because that could easily go to 50% like it did in 2008 with the financial crisis. So we just don't know. I believe that those that are patient will see a fast recovery, but it's going to take 1 to 2 years to completely recover. And I will tell my story is 2008, we had already been through the dot-com bubble of 2000, lost money and then rebuilt it back up. And then by '08, when the market crashed, I was sick and tired of the stock market. I cashed out all of my 401k, my retirement plans. I said, I'm not putting it in the market. I'm going to do other things with it. If I would have left it in, it would have tripled in the next 9 years. So don't use me as a guide on your financial decisions, is what I'm saying. Uh, and I'm not an accountant and I'm not an attorney, but I'm just going to tell you what I think, and that's why I'm here. Um, Patients' FICO scores will drop by 60 to 80 points, although Experian is trying to offset this loss through some legislation. Still haven't seen it yet. In the 2008 financial crisis, FICO scores dropped by 40 to 50 points. So I think it's going to be even worse here. Conventional third-party financing will be more difficult to qualify for, so we're going to have to come up with some different ways of thinking when it comes to how we're going to help patients. It's just going to be different. What can I personally do now, with this pandemic crisis? Call your mortgage company, and many of you have already done these things. It may be a review, but it may be the first time you've heard it. Call your mortgage company, see about refinancing. Rates are at historic lows. If you have equity in your house, consider a HELOC. That's a home equity line of credit. What your goal should be is to survive this next 2-3 months and have your business come out on the other side. So cash is king. Go to your bank and request a line of credit. Several of my buddies have done that, and banks are being fairly understanding. Cut all essential bills, like your cable. I've gone to where it's all on internet now. You're just trying to look at these are things that I can do personally to lower my risk. Electric and gas companies now are giving you adjustments for up to 90 days on your billing. Just ask. It doesn't hurt. Use credit line up in your with your credit cards. It's not ideal, but hey, having the ability and the access to the cash is what's going to make you come out on the other side. There are going to be hundreds of thousands of businesses. I believe that in the next 2 to 3 months, if this doesn't go away, or if the government doesn't come up with some new plan for us, they're going to go bankrupt. I've done this, sell anything around your house that doesn't add meaning. I sold wave runners, boat, furniture I had in storage, and this happened back when we had a big drought in Texas. But this is the same kind of deal. I wouldn't be afraid to do any of that. Negotiate with your credit card company for reduced payments or interest only, or just, ask and it may happen. Most of us have accumulated way too much crap over the 11-year bull market, and people are still buying stuff. So if you don't need it, if it doesn't add meaning to your life, get rid of it. Do whatever it takes to get through this next 6 months. It's our livelihood. Things are going to get better, okay? Things are going to get better. I just don't know when. None of us do. In your practices, you are seeing emergency patients with skeleton crews. When the crisis is over, we must be prepared to ramp up our business, and that's going to be huge. Obviously, the care package passed a couple of Fridays ago, $2 trillion care package. I think its rollout has been extremely flawed, and obviously everybody's been having problems with it, and it changes every day. So what do we do in our businesses? If you haven't furloughed your employees immediately, then making them eligible for enhanced unemployment benefits, I certainly would consider doing that, although things are consistently and constantly changing. You can hire back on a part-time hourly wage to make phone calls and assist with emergency patients. This varies state to state on how it affects unemployment. So you need to find out from your unemployment office. Talk to your bank for a business line of credit, not just a personal, but also a business line of credit. Negotiate with your vendors on payouts, delay of certain bills. I know Patterson Shine, the big companies, have been very, very good at extending things out. And this is apply for the payroll protection plan today, but don't fund it until you're ready to open. Unfortunately, that's changed. It changed this past week, but you must apply by June 30th. My recommendation is to try to delay as long as you can if you haven't already applied for it. If you have applied for it, you're going to be funded within 10 days. That's the new regulation. So it's supposed to be. Now, I know some friends who have gotten a PPP loan, and it's been approved, and a small community bank has said, well, we'll fund it in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I've had others that have had it funded in 3 days. So, the sooner you can do that to when you're going to open your practice, I think the better it is going to be. It's not an ideal program. My worry is going to be what happens if you get the PPP loan now, rehire all your employees for 8 weeks, and we don't open in 8 weeks. Well, now we're back into the same boat. So I would delay if possible. And there's lots of questions, and there's lots of places that people are talking about that. Negotiate with your utilities, institute an immediate spending freeze. I always say that's Captain Obvious. You don't want to be spending money right now. You want to be saving money and finding money and free up as much credit as possible. Don't stop marketing. Utilize social media to communicate weekly with your patients and your employees. It's a great opportunity right now to do Facebook Lives and to all of your patients and friends in your area. And communicating with your employees if you have furloughed them or put them on unemployment. Utilize a revenue management tool, something like Abela, and I'm going to talk about Abela and how to increase your collections now while you're not there, while you're not working. Again, things are going to get better. It's not going to happen overnight. How do I prepare when they wave the green flag? I look at this like it's like this is the Indy 500, and they're going to wave the flag whatever day I open. When that day starts, I want to increase my productivity significantly. There's going to be pent-up demand. But now's the time to be working on your business. This one tip here is a game changer. Schedule your patients based on productivity. It's something we've been teaching at Productive Dentist Academy for 16 years, and it's the first time in history we've ever had 100, 200, 300, 400 patients who we had on our schedules that we had to take off, and they're sitting there waiting to be put back on. Well, let me explain. I don't care whether you do $400 an hour, $600 an hour. I don't care what your productivity per hour is. I want you to take those patients and make a list of all those patients. You can run a report in your dental software. and find out exactly what you took off the schedule. So if you say you had a 3-unit bridge and it was $3,000 and you had 2 crowns and whatever, I want you to reset your schedule with intention, meaning if you're doing 3,500 or 4,000 a day like the average dentist, I want you to put 8,000 a day on your schedule, because now is going to be your opportunity to put those patients in that need production first. There's no such thing as an emergency buccal pit. You can put them in at later times. The other thing that's critical here is to actually have spaces during the day for emergency patients. And these emergency patients, that's pent up demand. It might be somebody that had a temp break, whatever it is, and get used to saying yes to dentistry today. When they're ready to do it, do the work. We're going to have to work really hard. We're going to have to be really focused. But my goal for the doctors that we work with is on a monthly basis over the first 2 or 3 months is to double your monthly production of what it was before. That inherently will get you back to the production goals that you had for the entire year, even though you didn't work for 3 months or 2 months. Create a QuickBooks file for your company. It's critical for predictive analytics because you're going to need to hit the ground running. I've got links to my podcast that you'll get on this. I've done one for both of those on predictive analytics. It's something that is extremely important for you to be able to run your business like a business, and this gives you that chance during this time to do it. And use this time to review your production by procedure reports. That's something that I do every year. A good example would be, say, ridge preservation. We do extractions, and what I do is I run every December, I run the previous year's January to December and that year's January to December, and I compare procedures. So one year I did 600 ridge preservations or grafting, and the next year I did 250. What's the difference? Did I not see the same patients? What was it? Well, usually it's some type of verbal communication skills. I just forget sometimes to diagnose stuff. I just say, yeah, we're going to take out this tooth. My team is instructed to tell me, Dr. Baird, does that need a graft? And then I explain to the patient that you lose 70% of the width and 40% of the height of your bone in the first year, and I certainly would recommend it. You don't have to, Ms. Johnson, but I would recommend it. And what happens is most patients accept my recommendation if they can. Now what I want to do is I want to talk about Abela. And Abela, I said before in my introduction, I started Productive Dentist Academy 16 years ago, and we started Comprehensive Finance 9 years ago after the 2008 crisis. Abela is a product that's been around only for about 2 years, and it is an accounts receivable solution, and let's look into it. When was the last time you upgraded your patient AR billing process? I can probably tell you never. Patient statements are suboptimal, they're expensive, relatively ineffective, and not preferred by patients. As a matter of fact, most people just file 13, goes right in the trash can. Phone calls can be intrusive and ineffective and easily ignored and can cause resentment towards your practice. Here's the thing. We surveyed 88% of patients want an easier, faster way to pay, and you're going to see how that works. Introducing Abela, collect more money faster without sending statements and making phone calls. What we know is that most practices have one person that works insurance and AR.
Hey everyone, this is Kendall just coming on. I'm running some of the audio in the background, and it looks like Dr. Baird may have gotten kicked off. So he'll be, he's already logged back in, so bear with us, we'll get him back on the line.
Hey, no worries. That was weird.
Hey Dr. Baird, we can hear you, you're good to keep going.
Okay, I can't see the slides, or I would. That'll happen in a sec, I hope.
Yeah, it should load for you.
I don't know why I got kicked off. I've got.
Is it showing you a progress bar?
It's just spinning. Yeah. I'm going to stop sharing, and then I'm going to go. I'm not really sharing my screen. I'm sharing yours. So.
Did you, okay, yeah, so you can share your screen now.
Well, this thing's completely shut down. Let me just go completely out and come back.
Thanks, everyone, for being patient with us. I know the bandwidth with these programs is a little overwhelmed right now with everyone being online in the virtual space. So just bear with us for just a second while we get this back up and running.
All right. I'd like to open system. Looks like I'm kind of back on again, but not. We can share my screen. No, I don't want to.
Yep. So it should load to share your screen, and it might take just a second.
All right, let me see about, if I pull that presentation up, I'll have my screen on there. So.
Yep, and then if you click, there should be in the middle of the screen in that pod, there should be a button that says click share my screen. And so then as long as you've got your presentation pulled up in the background, if you click that, then it'll start loading. So it will switch over to share your slides on your computer.
Are you currently seeing my screen now? Well, that's awesome.
Yep.
All right.
Yep, we can see your screen.
And you can hear me. All right, let's go. Okay.
Yep, we can hear you. So pull up your slides. I'm not seeing your slides right now.
You don't see the slides. Well, I've got my screen. Can you see my slides now?
Nope, it looks like it's the Adobe program. I'm going to try one thing on my end. Bear with us, you guys. Thanks for your patience. Dr. Baird, I'm going to upload your PowerPoint on my end and see if I can get it to upload a little bit quicker than it's loading for you to share your screen. So if you don't mind clicking the Share My Screen button again. Oh, it looks like we lost Dr. Baird on the other line, so bear with us, you guys. I apologize. Dr. Cooch, are you still on the line with us?
Yes, I am, Kendall.
Okay, good. I wanted to make sure we still have you, too.
No, I think it's just, I think what we're experiencing here through all of this is just our insufficient bandwidth of our internet for all Americans are pretty much trying to work from home, and meetings are happening like this. So it's been pretty interesting, you know. Technology is great when it works.
Dr. Baird, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yep, we can hear you.
Pull my screen back up again.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm uploading your PowerPoint in a separate window, and I will bring it over as soon as it uploads, but it's going to be pretty slow because of the bandwidth right now. So try sharing your screen again, and then pull your slides up. Do you have your slides in PowerPoint?
I do.
Try pulling up your slides in PowerPoint and put them in slideshow view. And then that should, so we are seeing your screen, we're seeing your cursor, which is good, but we're still not seeing the slides.
Is a good sign. Let's look and see what we've got here. Surfboard mentality. I just re-pulled everything up. You can see my screen still?
Yep, we can see your screen. We're still looking at a photo, a really beautiful photo of a rocky island somewhere,
Yeah,
wonderful in the world.
That's not my screen, huh? Okay.
The upload on my end is processing. It's about halfway through right now. So as soon as it's finished, I can pull that over. Oh, we're seeing something pull up.
It says it's currently sharing that's my open, but it's not my slides.
Is the PowerPoint file open on your desktop?
It is.
So we're currently seeing the Apple icon at the top with calendar, file, edit, view, window, help.
Yep. Now you see PowerPoint.
Yep.
View. Slideshow. I'm going to say slideshow, and let's shows my screen just like it did when we started the presentation. But it's still showing the island.
Okay, let's try one. Let me try. Oh, it's finalizing on my end. So give me just a second. I'm going to pull this over if it will load. Okay. Dr. Baird, I am pulling this back over, and this should be your slides. Do you see your slides now?
I see it opening, trying to open.
Okay, let me navigate.
I see it. Yep, I see it, Kendall.
I do too.
Okay, good. Let me navigate to the slide that you were last speaking on.
Perfect. One right.
So Dr. Baird, just hang tight. Don't click the stop sharing button just yet.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. Did you take control of the slides?
I did.
Excellent. Okay, we're back on track. Thank you, everyone. Take it away, Dr. Baird.
No worries. Collect more money faster without sending statements and making phone calls. And again, we know that most people working in your office, that do it, they work accounts receivable and insurance takes up 83% of their time, and they spend 17% of their time trying to do the collections. They always work the biggest balances first, and nobody works the $81 or $53, whatever. And everybody always says, well, they'll just pay when they come back in next time, and then you forget to collect it. This is an automated way of doing this. Managing patients' AR is a breeze with Abela's integration. We do multi-location management. We work with some of the largest DSOs in the country. You submit patients to Abela by the click of a button. It's done automated. Choose to skip or exclude patients. Say you worked on your brother, you didn't want to send him or her an invoice. then you can click off so they don't get an invoice. You can preview your patient AR batch before submitting it, and it's automated invoicing. Patients receive a link to view and pay their invoice via text messages and emails. It's frequent, friendly, and consistent. They're delivered every 5 days until the patient pays up to 90 days. And you can see over here, hi, Amanda, you have a balance due with our office, Mansfield Dental Center. It's customized for your office. For questions, call our office. To view your invoice, pay off your balance, or choose from a menu of payment options, click the link below. So they can go straight in and do that. Abela makes it effortless to pay. They can click to view their invoice. You can see the invoice. They can select pay in full, monthly payment. They can choose the payment date, the payment info, and they can enroll in auto pay. What I love is Abela's bidirectional. It goes, 95% of the software is out there. Payments made via the Abela portal are auto posted back to your software. It also can allocate provider payments to associates in your practice or whoever you want it to be sent to. And payments you collect in your practice are synced back to Abela, meaning if somebody comes in and pays $100, Abela recognizes that and quits sending payments to them, or quits sending statements to them. It also notifies about failed and pre-collections. I like this. Our records show that your open balance due to our office is more than 60 days past due. Please pay your invoice or set up a monthly payment plan by clicking the button below. Failure to pay or set up a payment plan in the following 15 days could result in your account being transferred over to a collection agency. Patients can call. You have robust analytics, payment posting, collections, deposits, average days to collect. You have a lot of stuff that you can look at. This is a case study from Corson Dental, Callie Ward, who's a big fan of Carrie Free, by the way. They recovered 70,000 of problematic AR in the first 60 days. She said we had 300 accounts in 90 plus days in AR. So the decision to move forward with Abela was a no-brainer. Collected 2 to 3 year old payments, which is kind of crazy. 70,000, they collected $71,000. Now you may not have 300 accounts over 90 or 300 accounts at all. It doesn't matter. You don't have anybody doing collections right now. Everybody's just sitting there, and there are people being paid. My daughter's a school teacher. She's getting her full salary. People are getting more money in unemployment. They want to pay their bills, but just no one's reaching out. This is a 150 location office. The thing to look at, collected $4.5 million, but 53% of what was collected was over 90 AR, which is ridiculous. It's the way patients want to pay, which is with their phone and without human contact. It really works. What makes Abela better? Abela is amazing. This is from Louis Guzman, the Director of Practice Integration for MB2 Dental. They have over 200 offices. It saves our offices time. Most patients pay before a statement could be delivered, and our collections have been at an all-time high since doing it. 30% increase in AR collected, 60% decrease in cost to collect, and a 72% decrease in the number of days it took for them to do their collections. And that's just simply amazing. This is a trial that we're running right now, and the reason I want to tell you about this is we usually have $1,000 for a setup fee. That is completely waived. We will set your office up, do the software integration, do everything, and we usually charge $299 a month. That is a once a month fee. We don't charge a piece of what we collect. It literally is just a once a month fee to have this service. We've waived that also. So basically there's no cost for you. If you decided you wanted to use it now until July 1st and collect whatever you can collect and then tell us, guys, it was great, but I don't want to move forward, you can do that. I just felt like this was important because of the times we're in right now. And I'd like to see you get some collections on that. You can send questions and enroll at info@abelaar.com with your practice name, your practice phone, your main practice contact for setup and training. You'll complete an electronic order form that's emailed to you. Its integration happens. Download trainer and user guides. There's really not a lot of training you need. It's automated. but then you can start using Abela. And at the end of this presentation, there's going to be a link that you can go to if you decided you wanted to sign up. But let's talk about the financial discussion. What's happening in America? Well, things are definitely changing. The average household income, this is prior to the pandemic, was $53,000. The average bank account balance of $4,400. How will dentistry be affected? Well, there'll be pent-up demand for services. Patients will be holding on to their cash, which is exactly what happened in '08. Credit's going to be harder to get. You must be proactive in this new normal environment. You must have better financial arrangements for your patients than what you currently have, because people are not going to be able to do the dentistry. You need to understand the difference between cost and affordability. Those are two different animals. Learn how to make the dentistry you're offering affordable. This is amazing statistic. For every 10 crowns diagnosed, according to Gordon Christensen, and according to others, it's every 9.5 crowns, every 95 out of 100 crowns are done one at a time. 1 crown at a time. And dentist says, we look at it and we say, oh, let me help you. Use your insurance this year, and then next year we'll use your insurance. That's not helping patients. I can promise you. Let's just say the average cost of a crown is $1,200 and the out-of-pocket $600. Why are 9 out of 10 crowns diagnosed are done one at a time? The dentist diagnoses 5 crowns. Patient says what? Well, my insurance covered it. Does that sound familiar? I mean, everybody sees it and everybody hears it. Team member, yeah, they'll cover a portion of the treatment. Your portion will be $3,500. What's the next thing out of the patient's mouth? Can we just do one? And because your team doesn't like conflict, oh, sure, I'll get you set up. Why does this happen? Why do they ask that question? Why do they say, can we just do one? It's because they can't afford what we're offering. They can't do it. If anybody listening needed 5 crowns, you wouldn't want it done in 10 visits over 5 years. You would want it done if you could afford it. Decade after decade, dentists offer the same payment options, the same old way of thinking. These options are not in the best interest of the doctor or the patient. Monthly payments offered by most dentists are 0% deferred interest for 12 months. That's not really affordable monthly payments. So how do I help patients move forward with all, and I say crowns here, it doesn't matter if it's quad scaling and root planings, perio, whatever. How do I help them move forward with the dentistry they need? Here's how. You diagnose $5,000 worth of work. Patient, well, my insurance cover it. They'll cover a portion of the treatment. Your portion will be $3,500. Can we just do one? Here's what we say. Well, Bob, you could, but why don't we just use your insurance as a down payment, and we can work out convenient monthly payments as low as $85 a month. Oh yeah, Dr. Baird can give you a couple pills and you can sleep and we can do the work all in one day. Now, this is a different way of presenting. It's 180 degrees different than what you've ever been taught about finance and financing with your patients. Which would you rather have? Practice on the left and the practice on the right. They have a patient come in that needs $1,500, that has $1,500 worth of insurance. They both need $5,000 worth of work. You tell them their portion after insurance is $3,500 on the practice on the left. On the right, you tell them $3,500 is their portion, but you can have convenient monthly payments of $85 a month with no down payment. They get all their work done on the practice on the right. You do their work in a single visit. You can offer sedation, which they almost always accept. On the left practice, they decided to only do what insurance covers because they don't have money. But we try to say, well, why don't we do $3,000 worth of work and your portion will be $1,500? I don't have $1,500, doc. I'd like to just do what my insurance covers. Okay. So we'll do $1,500 using your insurance. They'll pay $750 and you'll pay $750. Now let's assume we have 50 of these patients walk in your door after you start back to practice. Well, let me tell you, there are going to be a lot more than 50 people that are going to need help. On the practice on the left, you're going to produce $1,500 per patient, or $75,000. Listen carefully. The practice on the right, you're going to produce $5,000 per patient, or $250,000 for that month. Practice on the left, the patient had to pay $37,500 out of pocket in very difficult financial times. Patients had to pay zero out of pocket in very difficult financial times with the practice on the right. Insurance pays the $75,000, and you end up with $175,000 worth of short duration, high yield debt paper. Most of you don't know what that is, but I want you to go look it up. And it's going to be paying you over the next 12 to 60 months on a monthly basis. We'll talk about, why this makes sense, but productivity per hour of the two offices is very, very different. Be careful when you follow the masses. Sometimes the M is silent. We're in it for good. This is where I'm going to talk about compassionate finance, the most innovative payment solution. And in the intro, they said that we've done $30 million worth of notes. We're closing in on almost $300 million in notes for our dentists that we work with. But this is making dentistry and healthcare affordable for everyone. Working with compassionate finance, what's your risk? Well, first of all, you're not putting up money like a third-party financing. You're not putting up money, you're putting up time. And what's the value of your time? Well, the value of your time in the practice on the right earlier was $250,000 divided by the number of hours you worked, compared to the one on the left, which was $75,000. But you're not putting up money. Your hard costs are covered. We always recommend getting at least 20% down. The $1,500 is more than enough to pay for your overhead, your cost of materials and supplies and lab costs. If you're a CERAC user, your crowns are costing you $35 a unit, and you're charging $1,000 or $1,200. You can finance those people. It's totally based on the value of your time. Interest offsets risk. I want you to understand that. In the credit score range, third-party financing, they basically take care of the excellent credit and the good credit. Who takes care of fair, poor, and bad? Nobody. If you're not doing compassionate finance, then you're fighting for the A's and B's along with 150,000 other dentists in the country. What I'm telling you is I don't care if they're E, D, C, B, I don't care. Because I'll show you how interest offsets risk. An E is paying 17.9% interest, where an A might be paying 9.9%. People say, I don't want to finance more than 12 months. I hear this all the time. Well, let's just look at an example. A loan amount of $2,400 for 1 year. Monthly payments of $215. A lot of patients could do that. Look at the amount of interest there is. Now watch what happens when it goes to 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. The amount of interest you receive on a patient over a 5-year term, you literally could have 1 out of 4 patients never pay a dime, and you're going to make the same amount of money as you would have if you had done it the other way. So patients have, how do I recession-proof my practice? I can tell you we have doctors now that have $1 million, $1.2 million, $1.3 million in financing that they've done through compassionate finance over the years. And they're bringing in every single month $15,000, $26,000, $31,000, $38,000 every single month on work that they did 2 years ago. They need 5 crowns and bill dust for $7,500. You accept $1,500 in insurance as their down payment. You're going to finance. This is $66,000 for 60 months with an average interest rate of 15.9. So you got payments of $145 a month. Almost anybody can do that. Now, some people are only going to want 48 months. Great. Some want 30. Some can do it in 20 months. Doesn't matter. 1 appointment with sedation. So this is, you're going to help one patient per week at $6,000. You're going to do about $24,000 to $25,000 a month in financing. And these numbers are assuming a 20% default, meaning 1 out of 5 patients don't even pay a penny. But remember, you're getting a down payment, and I can also promise you that we don't have a 20% default. That's across all of the credit ratings. And all fees charged by compassionate finance. At the end of 12 months, you've got about $5,500, $5,600 a month coming in. So as a portfolio by July, if you started in July using it, you'd have $230,000 of paper that is being paid to you with an average interest rate of around 15. At the end of 60 months, you're going to have $28,000 a month coming in, a portfolio of well over $1 million. Now, at some point in the future, we're not doing it now, but you could offer that paper for sale, that $1 million, and at a 35% discount, meaning if all the patients were E-rated patients, you'd be able to sell that paper for $750,000 in cash. Or, and you can do it every 5 years, or keep getting the monthly payments of almost 28 grand, investing at a 4% return. At the end of 20 years, you got over $10 million. So you're going to basically be able to do a lot with this. The benefits of doing good. You can totally fund your retirement plan just with these funds that come in on a monthly basis. We recommend you open up a separate bank account for that. A separate bank account besides what your practice account is. Pay off your student loans without affecting your take-home pay. Take your family on a 2-week vacation. That seems way out of the whack right now, doesn't it? So let's look at the face of compassionate finance. She couldn't have done this work. You know, we gave her a smile. He couldn't have done it. We gave him a smile. We were able to do dentistry because he had convenient monthly payments that he could pay. So what you can expect from compassionate finance: help more patients by making care budget friendly for everyone, perform more comprehensive dentistry in single visits, generate more revenue, that's monthly payments with interest, industry-leading cloud technology for evaluating risk and loan performance. We wrote the software for this. We also wrote software that's forward-facing to clients for one of the top 50 banks in the U.S. We've got best-in-class training and customer support, and our experts manage every aspect of your loan contracts. So I'm going to use an example. Let's say you did $10,000 worth of dentistry. You're going to get $2,000 as a down payment. And that's going to go into your software as a payment. The $8,000 is going to be written off. It's going to be adjusted off, just like you adjust off a PPO write-off or just a professional discount. That $8,000 is written off to compassionate finance, and compassionate finance takes over from there. And I'll show you what other things you get. It's a very simple application. It's an online app. Usually we do it on an iPad in the office. Here's something interesting. You see a bad credit score, bad credit rating, but their checking is verified. Their application status is approved at 17.99. You can pretty well know that that patient is an E, worse credit patient, okay? However, we went in and looked at their checking history. Most Americans make their house payments on time, their car payments on time, and everything else. And we just want to make sure that they're a good steward. They don't write NSF funds, and they're a good candidate. They can pick the payments. I mean, they can say, I can do $336 a month. You know, and I said, well, Mary, why don't you just do $162? You know, make it easy. In other words, I'm not forcing them to pay the most possible, because what happens down here, they're paying for 15 months. Here, they're paying for 36 months. You would say, well, that's not fair. Yeah, it is fair. I'm going to wait for my money a little longer. They're going to pay a little more interest, and it's going to be a good deal for everybody, because this becomes a no-brainer for the patient. They can make that payment every month. And you can prepay it. I mean, you can come back in and pay for it anytime. There's no penalties at all. This is different than you trying to collect from a patient. This is a retail installment agreement. It's signed. It has interest associated with it, and patients pay it. Right now, we're not even seeing a dip in patient payments. As compassionate finance, we get phone calls, and they say, I need help right now. I can't make a payment this month. What do we say? Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we skip this month and let's put it at the end? Would that help you? We've got multiple letters and multiple statements from patients on our websites and on our Facebook groups that we're just helping people. You know, it's not going to help them to say, no, you can't do that, because you've already done the work. You get a full report on money collected. You get to see a ton of different dashboards, all the stuff, active monthly payments that you've got, new loans this year. You know, we provide all the customer service. We initiate collections when necessary. We bill it and collect it, and we direct deposit it every Friday into your bank account, not into your practice account, into your own new business that you've created that is bringing you interest. We've got doctors that have bought airplanes with that money. We've got doctors that have paid off their house, that have used that paper for a down payment on a new practice. So this is all stuff that can happen. My Granbury Dental Center, the thing to look at is we've done 1.2 million in treatment with 103% collection success rate. We have picked up 200,000 in interest that we've earned. Our performance speaks for itself. 20 million in interest paid out with a 93% overall average portfolio return, which the average dental practice in the U.S., according to Dental Economics, collects 93.5%, and that's for all patients. These are a lot of subprime patients, and it's still, you either do the work or you don't. You're either going to do 5 crowns or you're going to do 1. This gives you an opportunity to help more people, no question. And the pricing, we have an account setup fee of $1,500 and software licensing of $199 a month. And that I'll explain the portfolio management fee. The portfolio management fee is basically every time that a check comes in from that patient, we charge $4 for the transaction. And whatever you have in your portfolio management fee, we take 1/2 of 1%, meaning if you had $100,000 in paper that was owed to you, we'll collect it, we'll do all of that, and it'll cost you about $500. Now, what we've done, we have waived the account setup fee and the software licensing fee. I don't have an X on that one, and the software licensing fee until July 1st, just like we're doing for Abela, meaning you could sign up. You're not going to start using it, obviously, until patients start coming in, but at least you get signed up and get trained and ask questions and be ready for when the green flag goes, okay? You can call the number 866-960-6323. You can always say info@compassionatefinance.com, and there'll be a link that you can hit, and it will give you information on exactly how to do these 2 things. And that is the end of my presentation. And now we can do questions.
Thanks, Dr. Baird. That's awesome information. We do have a few questions coming in. I think we might have time to answer 1 or 2 of those if that works for you.
I've got time, so no worries.
So okay, perfect. What are your predictions on current patients completely falling off the schedule or going back to price shopping to find cheap dental work?
Well, it's a great question. And that's really what I call the commoditization of dentistry. And the reason they do that is because 95% of the dentists out there do not have decent financial arrangements. They just don't. If you can offer them this type of stuff with monthly payments, they're not going to go shopping for a cheaper price unless they don't value what you do in your own business. In our business, I know that they really want to have the work done there. We have technology, we have equipment, we have great team. They want it done there, but without the right financial arrangements, you can't do it for them. And so they end up going to what I call the cheapo depot. And they go to the cheapo depot and have their crown done for $600 instead of, they'd much rather you do it for $1,200. They just can't pay for it. They can't pay the $1,200 cash. They don't have the credit. They don't have the money. And even if they did, what you're going to find when we come off of this is even people with cash are not going to spend it. And so they want to hold on because they're not sure. And so there's going to be pent-up demand. What I would do is make sure I have financial arrangements that will help them. We do not have too many dentists in this country, even though the ADA keeps opening up more dental schools and there's private dental schools open. We do not have too many dentists in this country. We have too few dentists that have decent financial arrangements. That's what it is. Everybody's fighting for the A's and B's. Nobody's standing up for the C, D's, and E's. That's the introduction.
Okay. I know we have another question, and I feel like you answered part of this, but do you recommend offering some sort of discount or incentive when we reopen to get people back in, or do you think there'll be such demand that we don't have to?
I don't think discounting is the way to do it. I think offering good, convenient monthly payments is the option. Discounting, they're going to pay full fee if they can afford the monthly payments or if they can afford to do it. I wouldn't get into a price war because what's going to happen is then you're leading right straight down to that. You can do things like maybe have a membership plan. You can do a lot of things like that. That's fine, but I wouldn't just cold discount. That's my answer to that.
Okay. Dr. Cooch, do you have anything to add?
No, I think, Bruce, boy, you've just nailed it here today in terms of where we're at as practices, what we're facing in the next 90 days. I know in the state of Oregon, the governor mandated we cannot open our practices before June 15th unless, I mean, that's where we're at the moment.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the target date that we've been given, and obviously that could change if things improve. But, so but we're all kind of looking at June 15th as a first opportunity date, from this standpoint. And then I think, trying to understand how to use these, bailout dollars, to the best advantage in each of our practices, and then trying to be as productive as possible in those first couple of months getting back to work. I think you brought up literally probably the most important point there. And then I think, I would have to, Bruce, you're totally on the money too. I mean, we have all these great solutions in dentistry, and the one thing that we really lack for, is we're competing for the dollars, that people are going to spend their discretionary money on, whether it's vacation or big screen TVs or boats or RVs or whatever. All of those items have very affordable payment plans.
Right.
Every one of them do. Right? But we don't. And so, we get, we get shifted down the priority list because they literally can't afford it, but because the payment plans aren't affordable, right? It's not the price, it's the affordability.
That's right.
And so I think, Bruce, you just nailed it today in terms of what we need to do. And I think it's probably going to be more critical now, coming back into this than ever. I know, you and I have witnessed
Yes.
the recession of the 80s. I mean, we've been through it, the ups and downs over, you've seen these cycles repeat themselves. But I'll tell you, in 2008, the thing that was interesting was people were scared to spend money, and that it actually made the recession worse.
That's right.
And I think you're going to see that same thing happen here. I agree with you. I think you're going to see the same thing happen here. People coming out of this are going to be reluctant to just go out and spend money because there could be a second wave. We could be in this whole lockdown again. And, I mean, there's this uncertainty. And whenever there's uncertainty, people freeze and their dollars freeze, right? Everybody panics. They rush to buy a pickup truckload of toilet paper, and, and they freeze their spending. So I think there's going to be huge opportunities for us. We need to continue our marketing right now.
Yep.
And then you need to be as productive as possible and have those affordable options and payment plans, when you hit the ground running. Bruce, you nailed it today.
Thanks, Kim. I appreciate it, buddy. I look forward to seeing you soon, hopefully. Not on a computer screen.
Yeah, it's great to hear it's great to hear your voice, Bruce.
All right. You too, buddy.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. So, sorry, before we go, I just have a few items to mention. Please join our Facebook group if you haven't already. After the session has ended, you'll be directed to the link where you can join. And this is a great opportunity to continue networking with your peers and speakers. We'll also be posting the recordings in the group daily with some additional bonus content. But if you're one of the rebellious that doesn't have Facebook, don't worry, we've got you covered. We'll be sending you this recording later today. Again, the quiz and evaluation form will be sent to you today. Once you complete them, you'll get your CE certificate within a couple weeks. So here's a quick glance at our sessions this week. We have hygienist Carrie Ibbotson, Dr. Doug Young of the UOP Dental School in California, hygienist and nationally known speaker Patty DeGangi, and hygienist Michelle Hudson of the Productive Dentist Academy. Last but not least, thank you to all of our attendees for being on with us today. You're the reason we can do these every day, so thank you. And thank you once again, Dr. Baird. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Yeah, bye-bye, everybody. Bye, Bruce.